This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2021 Sunset Trail model 269 FK. Okay, so you have power stabilizers. One switch controls both rear jacks, and then the switch up front controls both front jacks. Of course, you don't lift the trailer with the stabilizers, you just take the movement out of it. Okay, you got a power awning with LED strip. You got outside speakers. This is a port for a sprayer that you get. It's just a coiled sprayer to hose things down. Your stairs, your steps, you can adjust the length of the legs by pulling these pins out. There's one on each side, and sliding them up and down and adjusting them to the terrain. Okay, there's your other switch. Now this is the outside of your water heater. The switches to operate it are inside, right? This works on both gas and electric. I just want to show you that this is where you drain it here. It's an 1 1/16 6-point socket will go on there. Okay, so I'll show you the switches when we get inside. Okay. You got a power tongue jack. Now, if this was to fail, you can pull this cap off, and you get a crank inside. I'll show it to you inside the trailer, and you can put the crank on there and crank it manually if you have to. Get yourself out of trouble. You have two LP tanks full with an automatic changeover regulator. You have a deep cycle marine battery. And this is the kill switch for the battery, so you can shut the battery off when you put it into storage, but only shut it off in storage. You want to leave it on so when you're pulling it down the road that your tow vehicle will charge the battery, and when you're plugged in, the power converter will charge the battery. So, okay. Okay, so these are your water hookups here. This is the city water, which is the most common way to get water to the trailer. You just put the hose on there, turn it on, and you're all set. Now, if you go to a campground that does not have plumbing on the campsites, you can fill the you can pre-fill the fresh water tank right here and use the onboard pump to pump the water. I'll show you the switch for the pump and everything when we get inside. So either way, it'll operate just like it has city water, so you can still camp out in the middle of nowhere or at an older state park. You know, some of them have like a fill station when you first go in, that sort of thing. Okay, now this one here is a black tank flush. So after you've dumped your black tank, you can hook a hose on there, leave the black tank valve open, turn it on, and you can flush out your black tank really well. It cleans off your sensors, that sort of thing, so it's a good thing to do. And also, this white gate valve down here, if you can see it, that's the dump valve for the fresh water tank. So you know, most people don't like traveling with fresh water in their trailer, so you can just pull that and dump it real quick. Now, the slide out, just so you know, it's an Accu slide. You can tell by the cables on it. That's the brand or style of it. It's a BAL Accu slide. Same with the rear one. Okay, so let's see here. This is your dump valves here. There's your black one right there. Let me see if I can see under here so I can tell you where the rest of them are. Okay, so you have two. So that one right there, and then you have back up here. You have I went too far, but you can see the two gray tanks right there. It's kind of right in the middle of the slide out. So you have three valves. Let's try it from this way. There we go. Well, you can see them down there. Okay. So after you dump the black, like I said, you can leave the valve open and hook the hose onto your dump hookup and just turn it on and spray out the tank. All right. This is the crank right here for your power tongue jack that I told you about. Now, this other crank, let me look to make sure I'm correct here. Yeah, so this other crank is for the stabilizers. You've got power stabilizers, but if they were to fail, you can use this this crank right here to crank them. You just go to the off door side, and you can see there's a shaft with a pin through it right there, and you'll be able to crank them up and down that way in an emergency. You can also crank your AccuSlides in and out in an emergency. You pretty much need a power drill to do it, but I'll show you that when we get inside. There's an attachment, and you need a drill to do it, but you can get them in and out. You have a 30 amp system. There's your 30-foot cord right there. Alright, these are just hookups for campground cable and satellite. You've got a ladder, which is great because you can go up and inspect your roof every 90 days like the manufacturer states. So you can go up there, you can walk on the roof no problem, check out all the sealant and make sure there's no crack in your separation, make sure there's no damage to the roofing material by low branches or road debris, make sure the vent covers are in good shape. Just give it a good inspection, and if you see an issue, get it taken care of immediately. Also, this housing tells us we're pre-wired for a backup camera. So if you want to put a backup camera on there, it would go right there. It's already pre-wired. Okay, so let's go inside. Okay. Alright, so here we are. This, just so you know, this is to turn your power antenna on and off, right? So for all your signals, AM, FM radio, video, digital TV signals, this digital antenna will receive all those, okay? But you got to turn it on and off. While we're looking at it, this is your sound here. You can stream off a HDMI, or excuse me, you can stream off a USB right here. You can hook up wirelessly with Bluetooth and stream that way from your phones or tablet. You got 2 speaker zones, 1 and 2. You've got AM, FM radio, all right? So there's a lot you can do with it. Now this is an HDMI in, so you can go into the system. If you've got, let's say, a portable Blu-ray player, you can run it straight into the system through to the TV set right there, okay? Now this is your control panel. Your 2 slide rooms, your awning. Now the awning, you just always want to remember that, well, 2 things you want to remember. Hold on one second here. You got to have the door at a 90-degree angle because, let me show you. There's the awning arm right there. So you want to be able to open it without it hitting the door. So you want it to be at a 90-degree angle to the wall there. Alright, so here we go. So, I'm not going to bother going all the way out with it. The thing is, never leave it out unattended. You're always going to bring it in when you're not going to be at the campsite. You don't want it to get damaged by the wind. That'll happen real quickly, so you always want it in if you're not going to be using it, or if you're not going to be at the campsite anyway. These are lights. Your water pump is right here that I talked about. The water pump is for pumping water out of the fresh water tank and for winterizing the trailer. You've got to light your water heater on gas is there. To turn on the electric heating element is right there. That's the most common way to heat the water. Never turn that on unless you have water in the water heater tank, because it'll burn out in just a minute or so if there's no water in there. So make sure there's water. The way you know that, you hook up the city water, and then you'll turn on a hot water faucet, let's say over the kitchen sink, and if it's empty, it'll be spitting out air, and then as it fills, it'll be a mixture of air and water, and eventually you'll get solid water coming out. That's when you know it's full. Okay, and this last one are your tank heaters. All your holding tanks are heated, and that's how you turn them on. Your battery is charged. Fresh water's got a 1/3 in it right now. Black, gray 1 and gray 2. Obviously it graduates up in 1/3 increments as it goes. After you get past 2/3, you got to start thinking about dumping your black and gray tank. Okay, now this is obviously your TV. And it has a swing out bracket that locks into place, which is that's what you want, obviously, so that way you don't have to have straps hanging from it to tie it up when you're traveling. So, okay, so this refrigerator is a 12-volt compressor refrigerator. It's very simple. It runs on 12-volt DC. That's on and off. hold it for a minute to get it to turn on and off. You don't just punch it real quick. You got to hold the button in. You've got a savings mode, energy savings mode, or a night mode, some people call it. So you got that, and then you just set the temperature right here, up and down. So this will run off the battery when you're towing it down the road. So it'll be drawing 12 volts from the battery, and then your tow vehicle's alternator will be charging the battery, right? So you can keep it cool going down the road. Once you get to the campsite, you plug in. You get your 12 volt from this device here, which is the power converter. Whoops, this device, which is the power converter. So what this does, it converts AC to DC power. So you have 120 AC right here on this side. You have regular household type circuit breakers like you'd see at home, and they're all labeled. That's the AC power. Then it's converted to 12 volt DC on this side. You got 12 volt fuses here, and they're all labeled. Like I stated, if you're plugged in, this will keep your battery charged. It's a battery tender, so it'll sense how much energy your battery needs and always keep it charged up. If you have like a wild power surge or lightning strike and the 12 volt side of this goes out, stops working, so you lose 12 volt, always check these 240s here, because those are the masters. Those protect the whole side, and that's where the issue will be. So you don't have to go pulling all these out. They'll be right here. Also, when these blow, they'll actually light up, and you can see them glowing through this tinted plastic here. So, okay, that's the power converter. Now, I don't know if he's got the gas turned on. We'll give it a shot here. Always keep your range top closed when you're traveling. This is the sparker here, so you spark by turning clockwise. And you have your 3 burner knobs here and your oven knob. So let's see what we got here. Let me turn it on, see if we got gas. Yep, we did. So it lit right up. Well, actually, he must have shut it off, and that must be residual gas in there. Yeah, so he's got them shut off. But it works fine. You just have to have the gas turned on, obviously. Also, keep in mind that to light the oven, there's a pilot light back here at the bottom all the way to the back. So you can see I can spark it. You can see it sparking right there. What you do is you go to the oven knob, you go to the picture of the flame, which means pilot light, you depress it, you keep it depressed. Then you're going to spark it by turning the sparker clockwise until the pilot light down here lights. Once it lights, you still hold it in for another 10 or 15 seconds or so to heat it up. You go to whatever temperature you want, and that's all you have to do. It works like an oven does. But when you shut it off, the flame goes out, obviously, but so does the pilot light. So you got to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. Okay. This is your range hood with a fan and a light. Microwave works like any other microwave. Okay. Let's see here. What other good stuff do we have? Your table will drop down, so you can turn this into a bed here, of course. Then you have your couch here, your sofa, and you pull these cushions off, and you can grab it right here and pull it out. It folds out two panels out, and so you include that one as 3 panels. Drop the legs, and you got a 3-panel hide-a-bed with foam panels, which is pretty nice. All right. Let's see where we're at here. This is the thermostat. It's very, very simple. It works like any thermostat, really. You push the mode bar right there, it lights it up, and then you can just move through the fan, the cool, which is air conditioner, and off in the heat, and then off. Now, try to always run the fan and the air conditioner on automatic. So just pick auto for the fan speed. That's the best way to do it. And the fan is just the air conditioner running without the compressor. That's all it is. So, okay. So try to do that on auto. I'm missing one thing here I still haven't found. Let me look around for it. Oh, here it is down here. So this device down here is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector. See, it's green. It should always be green. If not, you get it serviced. If it goes off, if it senses LP gas or carbon monoxide, it'll go off. And so you want to take everybody outside, leave the door open, shut the gas off at the front, and figure out what's going on. Also, if it beeps very slowly, it's telling you your battery's low. So I'm going to set it off so that it's self-test mode here. LP gas is good. Carbon monoxide coming up. Now slow or low battery alarm. and then back to green. So, okay, very simple. Okay, so your sink and shower work like any other sink and shower, of course, like so. Now, this is a GFCI. All the plugs in the trailer, including the one on the outside, are wired through a GFCI, so keep that in mind. You have to reset it in here. Always run the fan with the shower to pull the humidity out. And if you've never had one of these before, the RV or the RV toilet sits right over a black tank. All right. So when you talk about it being dry, you're actually talking about the black tank. So you can't use this dry. Otherwise the smell will be terrible and it can get clogged up. So straight down there is your black tank, right? So what you do is after you pull into the campsite, you hook up your power and your water, you come inside with 1 dose of chemical, you put a dose of chemical in the bowl, then step on the pedal, there'll be water. We're not hooked up to water right now, that was just residual pressure, but water will come swirling out, and you're just going to stand on it till you put about a gallon or so of water in the tank. Some people use more, it's up to you, but the bottom line is you have to have water and chemical in there before you start using it. So if, let's say you're going to stay at the campground for another, there's a flush pedal there, for another week, but you have to dump your black tank, you dump it, then you come back in here and repeat that procedure because the black tank's empty at this point. You take it, you put chemical and some water in there to start off with. Never use it dry. Okay. So the bedroom, obviously you have a door. You have a backing plate here for a TV, and there are your hookups up there. If you're going to get a swing out a TV bracket, first of all, get something heavy duty if you can with a wide base on it, and try to spend the extra money and get one that locks into place, so when it's closed it locks into place. Otherwise you'll have to hang a strap, it'll be hanging there, and you got to strap the TV and that sort of thing, which is okay, but it's just not as clean of an install as if you use an actual locking bracket. So okay, this one you'd want one that swings out this way, obviously, so you can see it from bed. Okay, and then you have, of course, storage and a wardrobe there. Your mattress or bed comes up and there's storage underneath it, so it's nice, very nice actually. This is the first floor plan like this I've seen. I don't know if it's new for this year or what, but it's the first one I've seen like this. It's actually very nice. Okay, so there's also in here somewhere, I don't know where they got it, but there's also, oh, it's over here, that's right. These are your remotes for your radio and TV, and this is your packet with all the literature in it. So it's got information on everything in here. So, okay. So anyways, I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. And I want to remind you what I told you when we were outside about inspecting the roof. That's very important. Anybody who owns a trailer, it's not this trailer, it's every trailer ever made. So if you own a trailer, you've got to have somebody go up there every 90 days and take a look around. Just be very careful. If you see cracking or separation in the sealant, it's usually at a corner area, for example, because that seems to be where it shifts a lot. If you do see it some year down the road, just get it taken care of immediately. It only costs $10 for a tube of Dicor lap sealant, which is what's used on this roof, so it's not expensive. It'll just take a little bit of time. But if you do that, your trailer will be bone dry for 20 years from now. It'll still be tight and dry, so you have to inspect them, all right? Okay, thank you very much.